for a full-time career change, right? An opportunity to make 6 figures and own your own business. Like Brendan said, right, we have more people doing that than any other company in American business today. The third reason you might be here is somebody has dragged you here against your will. If that's you, we're sorry, but we hope you enjoyed yourself today, right? Okay? But listen, right, I showed up there because I needed to make some money, right? And I did not want to have to work a third or fourth job where I had a set amount of time, right? That was what I was being offered at Rite Aid, and that did not appeal to me. I was looking for a way to make money that did not correlate directly with my time. So I sat down and I saw something very similar to what you guys saw tonight, right? The cash flow quadrant and all that. And I looked at this, I said, gosh, if half of what these guys are telling me is true, I've got to be smart enough to make a couple of $100 a month doing this, which was what my pay cut was. So when I hired in at the church, I hired in at $30,000. I took a 10% pay cut, that's $3,000, so we went down to $27,000 a year, right? $3,000 is $250 a month. That's what I needed to make up. And I looked at that and I said, if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn, I can make $200 doing this. Right? So I called my wife, it was $200 at the time, right? It wasn't $99, it was $200. You had to pay for your own licensing. I called her, I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing with the guy at the church. It's $200. I'm going to get started. She said, no, you're not. I said, well, I'm sorry, I just did. So don't worry, I promise I'll make the money back, right? And she was not happy, right? Because she's like, you need to make money, not spend money, right? Okay, y'all, some of you have had that conversation, right? Some of you are having that conversation literally right now, right? Okay? And I'm like, look, I promise I'll make it back. And so Jess is going to come up tomorrow and tell our story for the first couple months. It was not good, right? I mean, we were newly married, we were broke, and I was working a ton already. And then it was another thing, right? But we started. You know, we gave it a shot, we started part-time. My first 4 months in the business, we made about $1,500 a month, okay? And this is not how you should do it, but I didn't come to trainings, I didn't come to meetings, I was working my other jobs, right? And I just needed to make some money. So I went out, I had my upline show me what to do, and I went out and I did a couple sales and a couple recruits a month, and I made some money. And that was it. That was all I wanted, was to make that $250 a month. Right? And I had done 6 times that. So I was like rich, right? I mean, this is like awesome, okay? And I had no idea what an RVP was. I did not know I didn't know anything. I'd never been to a Primerica office. I'd never seen it, right? And so that was in August of 2006. So September, October, November, making $1,000 a month. Things are going well. And about that time in November, the creative arts lady above me at the church, right, quits. Well, if any of you know churches, right, that's a really bad time for a staff person to quit, right? I mean, they had all the Christmas programs and all that stuff already lined up. And so my boss came to me again and he's like, hey, you still want to make some extra money? I said, well, I'm doing better now, but tell me what you're thinking. And he says, well, we're kind of in a bind. She left. You're the only guy here that knows what's going on, kind of has his hands in it. We're going to pay you $8,000 of her salary if you'll come on board and just kind of take this over for us, right, until the end of the year. So I said, hey, that sounds great. Sign me up, right? This will be good. And so I worked like 100 hours a week from the end of November all the way through December of 2006, right? I mean, I would sleep at the church some nights. I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Got really sick in the whole process just from being overworked. And then after like the church break, right, between Christmas and New Year's, everybody kind of takes a break. We came back after the first of the year, and I saw him, and he had that look on his face again, right? And I knew something wasn't right, and he said, look, I'm really sorry to tell you this. I don't even know how to tell you, but the board did not approve that. Salary transfer, we can't pay any money of that. And I thought, boy, that was not nice. That was not good, because I already did the work, right? You know, like, you should pay me something. And in that moment, I had a defining moment in my life, right, where I realized no matter how good intentioned or how purpose-filled your job is, at the end of the day, it's bottom line over people. I don't care if you work for a church. I don't care if you work for a missions organization. I don't care if you work for a family business. At the end of the line, the bottom line is the line that they care about, right? And they weren't trying to hose me or anything. They weren't sitting around thinking, let's get this guy to work and not pay him, right? It just was keep the doors open at the church or pay this guy the money. And they had a choice to make, right? And unfortunately, I was on the losing end of that choice. And so I called my upline and I said, Assad, tell me what you need me to do so that I don't have to work here anymore, right? Because I was upset. I was like, man, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want any more unfulfilled promises, right? If they're not going to take care of me, I'm going to take care of me. And he said, Ian, you've got a double-digit recruit every single month, and in 6 months, you'll be done. And so I did that, and tomorrow, when you come here, I'm going to show you every single month. I have all the reports, all the people I recruited, all the business that came in, what happened with all that. And we went from $1,000 a month in January of 2007 to $10,000 a month of income in June of 2007. We went from $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month in 5 months, okay? And that's how this deal's supposed to work. It doesn't need to take forever for you to change your life if you're motivated to do that, right? And so I want to encourage you, right, to be back here tomorrow to look at that, right? Because there's going to be something in your life sooner or later, like Brendan said, right? And we don't know when it's coming. You don't know when that moment's going to come when you need Primerica in your life, but it's coming for every person in here, right? It's like the ant and the grasshopper. You guys remember that fable, right? The ant's storing up food all summer long for the winter, and the grasshopper's around playing. And, hey, why are you working so hard? And then winter comes, and the grasshopper doesn't have any food. And the ant says, well, you should have thought about that, right? When I was working, you were playing. And that's so many people in Primerica, right? I'll prepare later. I'll build my business when you need it. The problem is when you need it, if you haven't started preparing, right, you're not going to be ready. And so I saw that in my life. I said, I don't want to go through this again. I'm going to start preparing. I'm going to start doing something to give myself some options, right? So listen, we went from, like I said, $1,000 a month in January of 2007 to $10,000 a month in income in June of 2007. We never made less than 5 figures in a month since then, right? I mean, just unbelievable. My wife and I, we wanted to be able to have kids at the church. We couldn't afford to have us, right? Let alone kids. And if she wanted to be able to stay at home with the kids, that was something she felt called to do. She made more than I did, right? I mean, there was no possible way in reality that we could have been able to do those things, right? And then we found Primerica, and Primerica changed our life, right? Let me show you this. This is last month's daily blast. Oh, it's cut off there at the bottom. Dang. Sorry, you couldn't see that. I made $32,700 last month, and I made one sale. I did one sale all month. The company paid me almost $33,000. We promoted an RVP, so I got about $10,000 worth of stock, right? So we made, between stock and all that, over $40,000 last month. Do you understand? I made $27,000 a year. A year. It would have taken me 15 months of my life showing up every single day, working 10, 11 hours a day, 6 and 7 days a week. When you work for a church, there's no line between work and volunteer. I spent my first anniversary as a pirate in a children's VBS play. I mean, that's what you do, right? And you understand that, right? And listen, you know, I stayed on and volunteered my time at the church for a couple of years. I still did the music. They didn't pay me, right, because I wanted to make sure that we served there, okay? But listen, thank God we did that, right? Can you imagine that? Paying that mohawked kid $30,000 a month? I mean, you couldn't believe it, right? You wouldn't be able to believe it. And I couldn't even think that big, right? I didn't join this business to make big money. I joined to make a little bit and have a little bit of freedom.